And we are on the Mark Hoke Show. Very excited to welcome in, I'll tell you, one of the most unique guys in professional wrestling, multiple-time TNT champion, and the newly crowned, well, in a couple of ways, AEW World Tag Team Champion, along with his partner Sting. Let's welcome him in, Darby Allin, to the Mark Hoke Show. Darby, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. I'm doing good, but like physically a little banged up from Wednesday, but mentally my spirits at our all-time high.
The part of the reason I was saying you were crowned a couple of ways was you guys didn't get to celebrate very long after you and Sting won the world tag titles from Big Bill and Ricky Starks, as those young bucks, Matthew and Nicholas, showed up, and they were wearing some of your blood on those suits. So can't imagine you're too happy about that.
No, it's more of the fact, look, if I got jumped after winning the TNT championship, fine, I understand it. But to do that to someone like Sting, which he literally got about a month, if that, left of his career, and to take that moment away from him, that's kind of where I draw the line. And there's going to be a time, there's going to be a place where we get their blood, but we'll wait for that.
Well, I have a feeling that's going to be coming up at Revolution, wouldn't you say?
Oh, might be a little sooner.
Oh, really? Are we going to have a little fun here at AEW Collision coming up here on Saturday at the Dollar Loan Center?
You never know.
Oh, boy, I wouldn't mind the Young Bucks eating a skateboard or two. That would be fun.
Yeah, no, it would be awesome.
Oh, all the more reason to buy your tickets, everybody. That would be great. Let's talk a little bit about this partnership with Sting. Now, this has been going on for a few years now, and I'd be interested to hear how this all came about, because obviously, Sting's getting towards the end. We're going to be having a retirement match here at Greensboro at AEW Revolution here in just a few weeks. Why you? How did you end up being the one that he decided to work with for all this time to close things out?
Honestly, I have no idea. It's it was just like one thing led to another. It's, pretty crazy because when I first heard that Sting was coming into AEW, everyone told me that he was coming in almost as an ambassador. There was no wrestling planned at all. If anything, we do cinematic matches. And, I said a couple weeks ago, I was in the ring with him when I told him this. Went down to his house in Texas. He had a ring down there. We were rolling around the ring. And I told him, dude, you still got it, man. You need to end this career in your own terms. Obviously after the neck injury that he sustained, he was a little hesitant. He's like, man, I don't know. And I was like, no, we need to get out there live and wrestle in front of an audience. You need to end your career on your own terms. And I think it's almost along his career, I've been known towards the end of his career, I've been known as the Sting Whisperer. Whenever I'm able to get him out of his comfort zone and be comfortable with things, and he trusts me now. Whatever direction we go in, he trusts me. He's like, all right, you got a good pulse on how, to navigate this world of AEW. Because, him coming into the world of AEW, it's a whole new scene, it's whole new wrestlers, everything. But it's very important for me to have that with him, in the end of his career.
So what you're saying is him taking some of these crazy bumps is your fault.
No. This is the funny part. I say I want to do it all. I want to jump off the balconies, and he's like, nope, I'm doing it. And I was like, oh, man. So everybody says, yo, Darby, stop having him jump off these balconies. It's not me. It's I can't stop him. It's literally, that's him. And if people were to blame me, you can't call it peer pressure because he's 35 years older. So it's insane. And that shows the testament of how much he's willing to put his body through to end his legacy, not phoning it in, not going out there and playing the greatest hits. This man's he has such an amazing work ethic. It's awesome to see. Me being 31 and watching him being 64, it's insane to see. A lot of times people could just ride off to the sunset all chill and normal and just go out there and play the greatest hits. But he's got a point to prove. I don't know exactly what it is because he's done everything, but he's pushing the limits.
It's fascinating to see you getting so much trust from so many of the veterans in AEW and done the work with Adam Copeland. You've been called upon in spots with so many other guys over the time that you've been in AEW. And obviously people know you from the indies and MLW and so on. But what has amazed me is how many of the veterans that are in this organization have put their trust in you in big spots, and that Tony Khan has said, you know what, Darby, you're my guy. Why is that everyone has said, you know what, Darby Allin is the man, let's do it?
You know, I don't know. To me, I think I'm willing to go places physically and mentally that no one else is willing to go. Like, I'm pushing the limit every week, and I really feel like people see that and they know that I have this work ethic to really prove a point. Because every time I go out there, it could be any time of the week. It could be Dynamite, Rampage, Collision. I walk out there when I make my entrance, it literally feels like my debut. I act like it's my first, act like it's the first time people are seeing me, and I never have the night off. And I think people see that I'm willing to do things week in and week out, and everybody knows, you're going to go to the hospital, you got to be careful, you got to slow down. But I'm not taking any of this for granted. I'm very aware of what I'm doing to myself physically, the wear and tear. I'm more aware than anybody. But it's just, the thing is, I'm so grateful for this opportunity in life, with a company like AEW that just goes out there and says, Darby, you be you. And, because I never thought I was going to make it to a place like this. So I'm not taking anything for granted, because I remember being a dishwasher and not even, dropping out of school and stuff and thinking that I wouldn't be able to make it. So I think people see that I'm determined to prove a point.
Do you feel like you've proven it, though? I mean, I know some people watch you sometimes. I was going back and watching some of your footage, that Jeff Hardy drop from the ladder that you did on the chairs, and some of the other things that you did, the one that you just did with Hobbs and Takeshita where you got thrown across the ring and got whiplashed. I just sit there and I'm like, oh my God, one of these times, man, one of these times. And I just get so nervous watching you some days, and, as a dad, and I'd be like, if that was my kid, I'd be like, oh, yeah. And it drives me crazy to say, I just don't want anything bad to happen to the dude. Do you ever worry about that sometimes?
No, not at all. I think it's insane that there's so much people getting injured in the world of wrestling, and they don't do anything that I do. And people it's funny because I don't ever really get hurt. My body feels great. I have a crazy physical recovery regimen at my house. I do so much. And, I feel wonderful, and people are telling me to slow down. Meanwhile, people are getting screwed up on the smallest things. I'm like, all right, man, don't talk to me about safety. I feel great, and I'm not going to stop. And that's the thing. People are like, you don't have to do this for our entertainment anymore. I'm like, who says I'm doing it for your entertainment? I'm doing it for me. I physically love doing this stuff. It's not to impress anybody. It's literally a feeling I get when I do it. So I appreciate all the fans looking out for me, but when they say, Darby, you don't have to do this for us anymore, I'm like, I'm not doing it for you guys. I'm doing it for me. I love it. I love the thrill. Can't go out there and take it easy. No way.
What is that recovery regimen? What's the secret?
All right. So for me, besides all the yoga, so I have the sauna, I have this ice bath I sit in that for 20 minutes a day. That's at 39 degrees. It's pretty, it's freezing. But on top of that, I do a lot of dry needling, which is acupuncture, and I do yoga, obviously. And I feel like a lot of it is also staying very active outside the ring with skateboarding. Because Tony Hawk told me a long time ago, because, he's 55 years old, and everyone always asks, Tony Hawk, how do you stay so with it? And he's just don't take a break. So you just keep your body moving. And also meditation too. The mind is the biggest part of this whole thing to me. If the mind's not right, then the body will follow. So I just keep my mind really at peace, and my body feels great. And also, I'm straight edge. I don't take anything. I don't take any pain pills. And people are like, that's crazy, you need to take something. No, dude, I feel great. And I told people, I take a drug test anytime, any place, anywhere. Just I don't care. People are like, man, he's good. He's probably all hopped up on these pills right now. How can he deal with the pain? I'm like, dude, maybe I need to be tested in a lab, but I feel wonderful. There's a lot that goes into it.
Man, you need to make some videos or something.
Yeah, I'm down for all that stuff. They told me the same thing about my Mount Everest training. They said, like, you got 6 months to train for the biggest mountain in the world, and you have zero mountain experience. That's unheard of. And I proved them all wrong. And then they said, okay, April, you're going to climb Mount Everest, and we think you're ready. And this company, Adventure Consultants, doesn't mess around. They don't put people on the mountain with no experience. It told me I had to do all the training, and I had to pass with flying colors. And I did that. And they're like, wow, you proved us wrong. So it's like, so yeah, I think a lot of it, like I said before, it's all mental. You have to have the strong mind for it.
We're on with Darby Allin here on the Mark Hoke Show, a physical phenom to say the least. And one thing I wanted to ask you about, you mentioned about all this training and everything that you do. And something that fascinates me as being a former coach is the speed that you generate in the ring. When you're doing those ring dives and ramming into people when you're flying out, has anybody ever done any biometric testing on you to see how fast you're going and the force that you generate? I'm just curious about that.
No, absolutely. No, nobody has. It's funny. When I first started wrestling, I was like 120 pounds. And, obviously put on size since then. But I used to think that my biggest downfall was my size, but now it's my biggest positive. Like, to me, it's my biggest plus out there because I move so fast. I'm so agile, and I'm like a cat. If it looks like I'm about to fall on my neck, 1 second later, I'm on my feet. It's like I just find my pluses and everything like that. But I've never been tested to see how fast I'm moving out there.
Well, I know you do a lot of filmmaking. There's a project for you.
Yeah, no, I'd be down. Get a little of that speed gun and have me hit the ropes and see what happens. But yeah, it'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be fascinating because I seriously have never seen anybody go as fast in a ring. And I've been watching wrestling for a very long time. It's amazing to watch. Like I said, you do a lot of filmmaking. I think that would be a great project for you to do. So maybe you should do that. And, I know you did that fun stuff with Adam Copeland when he was coming back. So give you something else to do.
Yeah, I'm making a little documentary about my time on Mount Everest. I'm going to go up there with the GoPro and just talk a lot about, my mindset going into it and just film the whole process. So, I don't know if that can be incorporated in it, but we'll see.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. What sparked your interest in doing filmmaking?
There's a lot of stuff that obviously grew up big fan of film, like documentaries and everything. I went to film school in Arizona, and then I dropped out because they weren't letting me be me. They wouldn't let me make the films I wanted to make. And then I just I don't know. There was a creative outlet that I get from it, and just to watch people tell these stories through film and it just leaves this lasting impression on you where you're affected by it for years, and it's inspiring. To me, that's kind of my drive behind it, is to inspire people. I've been inspired by these films growing up, because I don't take a lot of influences from the world of wrestling. I do it from movies, music, skateboarding. I feel like there's a lot of, I don't know. I just try to bring all my outside passions into the world of wrestling.
So what is left of the stories to tell about Darby Allin in the future? Obviously Sting's going to be done soon here with his retirement. So there's a long future left to go for you. Where do you think the future is going to lead for you in AEW? And what are your aspirations remaining in professional wrestling?
So my whole goal with AEW is to be the face of the company, because it's given me so much inside the ring and outside the ring by just letting me be me. And, nobody tells me what to do. And I think it's very important, because like I said, I dropped out of film school because they didn't let me do what I wanted to do. And I made a pact with myself the first day of wrestling school saying, I'm either going to make it as Darby or I'm going to fail as Darby, but I'm not going to change for anybody. And I haven't done that. So I feel like I've stayed true to myself, and I'm in AEW, and to be the face of this company, I need to be world champion. So that would be the next goal outside of when I get back from Everest, is just to work for that. And outside the ring, though, is just push the boundaries of what a professional wrestler is capable of. Because I'll be the first wrestler to climb Mount Everest, and I want to be the first wrestler to go to outer space. There's a lot of stuff that I want to do, and just push the boundaries, because sometimes I feel like we get stuck in this little bubble and we're on our own little world. And I think sometimes people forget that there's a whole world out there of a million things to do. So push the envelope on what's possible.
Well, if there's anybody out there in pro wrestling can do it, it's you. And you're one of the most fascinating characters out there. And I think the world is going to be fascinated to see where Darby Allin's going to be headed in the future, including Mount Everest. Boy, that's going to be an amazing time. Can't wait to see how that goes for you. I'm sure you're going to be sticking a flag in the ground up there before we know it. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal.
And before we let you out of here, remind everybody a little bit about what's going to be going on Saturday night. Let's sell this thing.
Yeah, Dollar Loan Center, baby. Let's get it. AEWTix.com. That's AEWTIX.com. Henderson, Nevada, man. Super Bowl weekend. We're going to get a little crazy out there. I tell people all the time that with AEW, it's super unpredictable because as a wrestler sitting in the back watching the show, I don't even know what's going to happen, so I can imagine what it's for like the fans. So to be there live and see the chaos in person, that's no better feeling. So come out, Nevada. Let's rock.
Sounds great. Darby, thank you for coming on the Mark Hoke Show. Do appreciate it. It's good to talk to you again, and looking forward to seeing you doing your thing tomorrow night.
All right. Peace out, Mark.